It's time. Time to get credit for the work you've done. Time to get the recognition you deserve. With Purdue Global, you can move forward in your career, for your family, and for yourself. You're worth the investment in yourself to earn a degree you're proud of, a degree that employers will respect. Purdue's online university is designed to support working adults like you who know it's never too late to accomplish your goals. It's never too late to make a comeback. It's time to start yours today at purdueglobal.edu.
A group of high school students started a project to research a string of unsolved murders.
There is no profile of this killer except for the ones the students created.
What if this guy's still alive? Like, what if he comes after us?
Once you start getting a few tips or a few leads or a few identifications, then the cold case isn't so cold anymore.
This is Murder 101. Listen to Murder 101 on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Episode 49, Saving Money on Weddings, Part 2.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Yes. Welcome to the second part of Saving Money on Weddings, Reception and Honeymoon Edition. It's been almost a year since we recorded part 1.
Has it really? Have we been doing this for a year?
Well, we are on episode 49 and part 1 was episode 6. So
wow,
it's been quite a long time, and we've had several requests to complete the weddings segments. So,
we've been doing this for 49 weeks.
I know. Wait until we get to episode 52. Our 1-year anniversary special is going to be very special. It's going to be
Do you already know?
Yes, it's a highly requested episode that we've had. So before we get into today's also highly requested episode, we got to start with some sponsors.
Gotta do it. So today's episode brought to you by modernfrugality.com, the Modern Frugality blog and shop. It's Jen's, let's be clear, but it has free and low-cost printables, resources, ebooks, all these really cool things to help you reduce your spending, minimize your stuff, organize your life. Tell me that doesn't sound good. So head on over to shop.modernfrugality.com and you can see all the freebies. Yes, I said freebies. Not everything is going to line Jen's pockets with gold. And the things that are going to line her pockets with gold are 50% off when you use the code FrugalFriends19. That's all one word, no spaces, FrugalFriends19. You get 50% off of even the things that you do want to spend money on. So you can't argue.
You can't. You really can't, because I'm not here to listen to you argue.
You could try, but
you could try.
We won't be listening.
Argue with your stereo. And today's episode's also brought to you by Versatility. Looking around your home wondering why you have all the things and still can't achieve the efficiency you need? You need stuff with more versatility. Toss that crock pot. Get yourself a multi-purpose cooker. Stop buying those short-lived rolls of paper towels in bulk and get yourself some all-purpose reusable napkins. And don't even think about getting a chemical cleaner for something until you've tried spraying some vinegar on it. Versatility. Make sure the things in your home have it.
Ooh. That was good.
Deep.
I like that wrap up.
It's like a wow at the end.
It was surprising. Kind of like the cream in the middle of an Oreo.
Yeah, everybody's favorite part.
It doesn't really surprise me. It's just the good part.
Yeah.
Wow. How are you to follow up on our cleaning episode? I think that was it, where we talked about changes we were going to make. Was that the episode? I forget which episode, but are you using cloth napkins?
Yes, that was from our eco-friendly frugality episode.
That's right.
I have not bought any yet, but it's just been several weeks, so I need some time to find them.
Make them out of old curtains.
I know. That's the thing. I need to find some old curtains from the thrift store, and I haven't had time to go. So but I will. And if anybody has any recommendations, like for ones that they use, please let us know in the Frugal Friends community on Facebook. You can find that at either searching Frugal Friends community or frugalfriendspodcast.com/group, because I would really love your recommendations on that.
Yeah, she would. She's being serious.
Yeah. What about you, Jill? You said you were going to make a change. I can't remember what it was.
Listen to me. I am never home. Okay. Since we recorded that episode, I don't think I've been home.
You're not home right now.
I've been in Jamaica and Vegas. I'm currently in Jersey. So I can't be held responsible or accountable for anything I say, really, right? That lets me off the hook. I don't have to make real life choices when I'm constantly traveling.
Nope. I don't hold you accountable for anything.
Oh, thank you. I feel so validated.
But I'm glad our listeners held us accountable for part 2 of the weddings episode, or we for sure would not have done it.
Yeah. We kind of backed ourselves into a corner with calling it part 1. I mean, of course, you can't just have a part 1 and then nothing. It's like calling your first party an annual party. It's like, well, this is the first one. You can't call it annual until you do it again next year.
Exactly. So we started with episode 6, and that was about how to save money on the actual ceremony, the wedding dress, the decor, stuff like that. So the first half of the wedding. So definitely head back into the archives. It's episode 6, and listen to that if you are planning a wedding. This part is specifically going to be on mostly the reception, and then some about the honeymoon, because, I mean, with every good party, you need an after party. So, and then an after party.
Yeah. And then just a vacation.
Yeah. So you need it, but we're going to tell you how to save on it. And so our first article is about the reception, and it is from lovetoknow.com. And it is cheap wedding reception ideas. Forgive them for using the word cheap. They know not what they do.
They threw around the word cheap a lot, and I had this visceral reaction to it. It was surprising. I actually had a bodily reaction to the word cheap. I was like, no, I don't like this. This is not how we're describing a wedding.
But they did have some really good ideas. Jill, what were your tops?
Yeah, so they went through some ideas for receptions, just a location for receptions. I thought that they weren't super creative. Probably you've heard of this if you already are a frugal person, but it does get the wheels spinning that there are other options than just the country club. So they mentioned, there's 3 that they mentioned: a religious hall, someone's backyard, and a club hall. So with that, they're saying that a lot of times at churches or religious buildings will have a big kitchen, like a commercial sized kitchen, and a large room attached to it that you could use and decorate and make it look nice. So if you're getting married in a church and they happen to have a large room that you could have your reception in, and you can kind of get a package deal, then that's something to consider. Also, someone's backyard, if you're not super concerned about whether or not it's going to rain, or you want to do the whole tent rental, bathroom rental deal, you can consider a backyard. I will say that I'm not sure that that's always going to be the cheapest option. If you do, like I said, rent the porta potty, rent the tent, rent the chairs, rent the...
Not good if you have a big one.
It really can add up. But if you can use the house for facilities and the kitchen to cook in, and you're not having a lot of people, I almost did like a backyard and BYOC, like bring your own chair. My mom thought it was the tackiest thing. She's like, where are people going to sit? And I'm like, or where are they going to eat? I'm like, eat off your laps. Like it's going to be low key. We'll order some pizzas like on our way from the church back to the backyard. We didn't end up doing this, but in my mind, I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and then they also mentioned club halls. So these are your fire halls. It's your VA facilities, club scouts, whatever. If there's big buildings that are kind of community oriented, even community centers, usually That means it's a place where elderly gather and play bingo, but there can be some really nice community halls that you could rent out for way cheaper than an actual venue. So it's worth starting to get creative. Jen, I love what you guys did for your venue.
Yeah, so I kind of disagree with their venue choices just because I would be willing to pay a little bit more for a venue that doesn't need any decorating because decorations really add up. And like you said, if you're doing like backyard, the porta potty, the tents, those are not cheap. And I thought that would be a frugal way to go. But when I started pricing it out, like that was super expensive.
Yeah.
So we did it at the shuffleboard courts, which are like a big thing here in St. Pete, and it's owned by the city. So it isn't that expensive, but it is from the 1920s, and it's white buildings, green courts, and so it's very vintage looking. So it didn't need any decor. Like it was. We just use the space as decoration. So that's also something to consider if you're looking at a place that's just slightly more expensive. Think about something that you won't have to decorate and you can use the actual space as decor.
I do like that one. I would also add in, at least in our area, this isn't everywhere, but there's a ton of barns around our area. So there could be people who would be willing to rent out a barn. So at least that's enclosed. You may still have to get a porta potty, but you may not have as much decoration to do. You don't have to worry about renting a tent. Also, banquet halls and restaurants. So this is actually what Eric and I did when we got married. So it could seat a lot of people. We were able to have up to like 400 people in this banquet hall, but it wasn't a country club. So it kind of flew under the radar of it wasn't a super expensive place. We were able to pick what kind of food. I think we could have even brought in a different caterer. They ended up giving us a great deal. It was only like $14 a head to do chicken and pasta and salad. It was, fantastic. So it was something a little bit different. So just think outside the box too. If you know of, restaurants that tend to be the elderly flock there, but they've got banquet halls. You never know. You might be able to work with them a little bit more on the catering or bringing in, if you choose to have a bar, you could bring in your own alcohol rather than paying for that at a venue who has it. So thinking outside the box on this can really be helpful. We even had friends too who got married in a park. Sometimes parks will have buildings on it, whether they be a pavilion or even sometimes nicer facilities than just a pavilion. And like you said, Jen, you don't have to worry about the decorating. It's a beautiful location. Maybe there's a pond or a lake or a river in the back and you're out in nature, but you've got the pavilion, you've got these structures that you just have to rent like you would rent if you were having a family reunion kind of a thing. So definitely there's a lot out there. So do some research. Look within an hour radius of where you live, where other people have gotten married. It does not have to be the traditional country club route.
Yeah, definitely. Another one that I wanted to point out that was on this list is doing the reception favors. So we personally got sunglasses. And while it may not have been the cheapest thing we could do, we could have, just done some like Hershey Kisses or whatever. We have used those sunglasses since our wedding, and they're just cheap sunglasses. And so everybody loved them. Everybody used them.
I think we even got a pair. We met you guys a year after you got married and snagged a pair off of you.
Because we had so many left over that whenever we lose some sunglasses or need some cheap sunglasses for something, we are able to use our old wedding favors. And so they have just come in so handy. So having reception favors that are useful and still cheap like that is a fantastic idea, because most people will, spring for M&Ms with their faces on it or do little tins.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. And so just think, when your wedding is over, you're going to have so many favors left over. Do you need like 50 tins of mints? Yeah. And that's also wasteful because like you're just going to throw them away and they're going to end up in a landfill.
We did not do favors. Maybe we were awful people, but We didn't do. We were like, you're welcome. You got to celebrate with us and we fed you. So
I know that's also an option too that says, so yeah, I know a lot of people in our community group said skip the favors, but I just found having those sunglasses for so long after was so useful.
That was the gift that kept on giving.
It was.
This article also lists ideas for food. So there's tons of options here regarding beverages. Obviously, if you go the no alcohol route, then that is less expensive than going the alcohol route. Obviously, if you do want to have some selection of alcoholic beverages, you can choose one thing, just having one type of beer, one type of champagne, whatever that is, just make it a simple selection. Yeah. And so that can limit costs. If you find a BYO venue, then that's fantastic too, because then you can purchase the alcohol yourself and you're getting it at cost. And then, you can have some family member or friend serve it, or you could, hire somebody, whatever, but that can be a less expensive way of doing it. And as far as food goes, going simple. This does not have to be the best meal that your guests are going to get that week. It does not have to be prime rib.
Nope.
You can do simple salads, pasta. If you want to add meat to it, do chicken, but really you could do spaghetti and salad and bread.
That's what we did.
People would be so thrilled and just kill it on the dance floor and you're fine. You don't need to offer 5 million different things to your guests. You could also do a sandwich bar, they mentioned, doing finger foods, dessert bar like cookies. You don't have to get the cake if you don't want to. I know some people don't even like cake. So,
yeah, I've been to a wedding that does a dessert bar, and it was delicious because they sprung for the real good desserts.
Right.
Because they didn't have to pay for like chicken and other expensive, foods. And then B, there was so much left over, we got to take some home.
Yeah, and then and that could be the favor. If you don't do a wedding cake,
oh my gosh,
then you could just have little baggies for people to take home some cookies or little cheesecake bites or brownies or whatever you decide to do. And
so true.
That's two birds. I also know that, and obviously every place is different, and even how weddings are traditionally celebrated. So I've heard that in the South, they will even do just desserts or just appetizers and have a shorter reception. I don't know. You live in the South, but Florida is a different kind of South.
I mean, that was how the dessert wedding that I went to was. It was just desserts. And it was a little earlier because, by the time we were all done, we all kind of wanted some real food. But it was, so it ended early enough to where a bunch of us could go out to eat afterwards.
Right. So with that style, you could have a lot more people. And so this is where some of the priority could come in of, do you want to just be able to invite everybody and their mom? Fine. Then make it clear that come celebrate with us. We're going to have some amazing desserts. And then we're going out to this restaurant. You can buy your own food.
The funny thing is that after that wedding, we went to this taco shop to get some food, and we ran into the groom.
That's awesome. He was grabbing some tacos.
Yes, it was real good. Another thing I liked from this list was what we did. Instead of a DJ, we had a Spotify playlist that one of Travis's family members ran. And so part of getting a DJ is that they pump the crowd up. And so if you're not going to have an actual DJ or band, then you just have to find an alternative to keep your guests engaged and get them out onto the dance floor. So we went for the whole shebang with the venue again. We had the shuffleboard courts open, so we had somebody there from the court there to hand out the sticks and the pucks, and which are actually called tangs and biscuits.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So, I know. And so he was kind of monitoring that and teaching people how to play and stuff. So that's kind of how we kept the adults engaged. And then for kids, we just had some like coloring sheets and crayons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you can still make it fun without a DJ.
Yeah. Friends of mine that got married in a park, they had tons of lawn games. So most people were just having a blast, treating it like just a really amazing, fun backyard party with lawn games. And there was dancing, but it was kind of like you could have fun doing either one of those things.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, sometimes you can be too frugal with your parties and kind of forget some of the components that cutting costs inherently eliminate. So you just have to be aware of those things and kind of, as long as people are engaged in some way, they are not going to notice that there's no $10,000 DJ available.
Right.
So,
and some people are annoyed by that DJ anyhow, so.
I know. Some of them are bad. Some of them are really good. I unfortunately got married at a time where every wedding I went to was using like the same DJ, and he was just so good, like best wedding DJ to date. And I was like, how much is he? And they're like $10,000. And I was like, no, I'm not spending that money on my entire wedding.
No.
Spotify it is.
That's
$10.
kind of a down payment on a house.
Right? So, yeah. I was a little like embarrassed to not use an Epic DJ. So that's why I had to counter it with like coloring and games.
My gosh. I would have been embarrassed to pay that amount of money for a DJ.
I would have too. In hindsight, if I had, I would have like major regretted it.
We know New Year's resolutions often don't stick. In fact, on average, they last around 30 days. So if saving money is on your 2024 resolution list, here's a foolproof way to stick to yours.
Switch your phone provider to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month.
For those of you paying close to $40 a month for just one phone line, this means a savings of $300 over the course of the year. We especially like Mint because all plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/frugal. That's mintmobile.com/frugal. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/frugal. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So, buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So, how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. oracle.com/strategic.
Right. I also, of course, this is not in the article, but it's the frugal way. I mean, I guess it's not considered bartering. It'd be just gift giving, but tapping in on those friendships. And I guess it'd be bartering in the sense of, you don't have to get me a wedding gift. Can you do my hair? Could you do the flowers? Can you DJ? We had friends DJ. We used our own sound system. I mean, thankfully, my husband's a musician, so we had access to that equipment. But can you rent it at a low cost from a local church? Do you have buddies who have sound equipment? Even, do you have a friend who will put together a playlist for you on their phone and play it and make sure that the flow is good? Whatever the case is, pull on your friends. Say, don't give me a check. Don't get me a gift. Like, could you help me day of?
Yes.
And that's what could really pull together a really nice wedding for you. That was how we did ours. That's how we pulled ours off, because so many people rallied around just to give of services or time in lieu of a gift. And that was so meaningful. And we had a blast.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for things like that from your wedding, because people love being able to contribute to your special day, especially if it means they won't have to get you something off of your registry.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend that did my makeup. And on the other hand, when I was a part of a wedding and everybody was paying $60 to get their makeup done, I opted to do my own makeup. And I put on some extra foundation. It looked just like the airbrushing. So also don't be afraid to like turn down things like that.
Yeah. And as a frugal person myself, I love the opportunity to come and help at a wedding, give of our sound equipment, come get a free meal and not need to give a gift. That's fantastic for me, because I've done something for you and the night didn't cost me anything. So consider that it might be a blessing for the person who you're asking for this, favor or gift from.
Yeah, definitely. The last thing I have to say about receptions is about the centerpieces. So what we did was cheap white candles we got off the internet with white hydrangeas that you could get from Trader Joe's. We had a family friend that did our flowers for free. That was her gift. Again, like utilizing your community and your family in lieu of physical gifts. We had her do our flowers and they were beautiful. I was actually prepared for them to be just like mediocre because like sometimes you don't know what you're going to get if it's a free family gift. But they were absolutely gorgeous. Like I've never seen wedding flowers better than what we had. So it was just like I went with a nice flower and a cheap candle. That's it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what we did, but I know that they weren't flowers. I think it was some sort of, we're coming up on 7 years now, so it was a different time, different styles even. It was a
different time then.
Yeah.
In the olden days.
I know, it
when
almost
I got
feels
married
like
7 years ago.
The wedding industry is shifting so much so quickly that like what we did is already out of style. But yes, we used reusable things. It wasn't perishable. So I was able to prep them ahead of time. It was less expensive. And yeah, it worked. I don't really care, right? I'm 7 years out. Who cares what my centerpieces looked like?
I know. They don't even talk about centerpieces in this. I just added it in because it was like one thing, because I actually was very picky. I wanted real flowers. And a lot of people, because it depends, like sometimes fake flowers are cheaper, and sometimes real flowers are cheaper. But the thing with real flowers, or for the candles in our case, like we were able to resell those candles because they were only burning for a few hours and they still looked great.
Yeah.
So we were able to like recoup some of our costs. Same with flowers, but flowers are a little more like specific, and if you get colors that are for like your chosen colors, so they're a little harder to sell, but think about what you can sell afterwards and like recoup your costs on.
Yeah, that's a smart idea too. I do have friends who, I don't know if Produce Junction is a thing everywhere, but basically it's inexpensive flowers and produce, veggies and fruit. And they just had a friend that was the wedding gift to them, was to buy all the flowers. They just went the week of the wedding. So it was whatever Produce Junction had in stock for flowers, that was going to be what her centerpieces were made out of. And they just collected bottles throughout the couple of months leading up to it and put all these different, it ended up just being all different kinds of like wild flowers in these eclectic bottles on the table. It was stunning, really, really beautiful. And the flowers only cost like $150. But then you have to be flexible. It was whatever that flower they had in stock, whatever types they had, which usually they've got good options. But yeah, with whatever you want to do, there is an inexpensive way of doing it. You just have to be creative.
Yeah. Frugality comes with flexibility. You have to be flexible to be frugal. So we'll leave it with that. And we'll move on to honeymoons.
Ooh.
Yes.
Love
Everybody's
honeymoons.
favorite. My honeymoon was not the best. I cried several times on my honeymoon. I think because I was just so stressed from like beforehand. And then I was like married and I didn't know how to process that. So
There's a man that I'm married to now.
yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm in. This is it. And I couldn't. It took me a good week to process it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully your honeymoon experience is better than mine.
Oh, I had a fantastic honeymoon. I was just telling a friend today that after my honeymoon, I was like, I came home, I'm like, I want to go on another honeymoon. That was so fun. Like, I want to do this again. And my friends were like, yeah, now they're just called vacations, Jill. Like, there's no like having another honeymoon. I felt very specifically that I wanted it to be a honeymoon, but whatever. 7 years in, I'm on board with vacation now.
You feel like you can splurge a little extra with a honeymoon. And so that's why it's important to be as frugal as possible in your thinking so that even your splurge is a frugal splurge. So that's word to the
I like
wise.
that. Sounds like those two words don't go together, but
They do.
you did it.
Yeah, they do. So, Jill, what were your favorites from? Oh, this is from tripsavvy.com, and it's called Affordable Honeymoon Ideas. What was your faves, Jill?
Yeah. Well, so this idea just came up recently because I was talking with someone who did this. They suggested, and it won't be for everybody, but combining two things, having your wedding and your honeymoon be one and the same. So basically we're talking destination weddings typically. Obviously you could do it, in a place in your area that is hotel and wedding venue, but destination weddings. And the reason that I do like this concept, depending on your situation, is because it can overall reduce costs. Well, it sounds like, flying to Jamaica and having my wedding there, that's going to be so much money. But at the end of the day, if then that reduces your guest list to 30 people, that's all you're paying for. And a lot of times these places will offer packages. So if you're already staying for 3+ nights, there can be a lot of freebies then associated. They might do, their bare minimum wedding package for you then. Or not. Either way, it still is condensing. It's it's packaging both your wedding and your honeymoon. So it could be something to consider if you have a small party that you want to be there, if you want to cut costs, but you also want a really killer honeymoon. I think that it's definitely worth considering.
Yeah, this is a great way if your spouse has a large family and you don't want to invite them all. Then you just say, oh, we're going to the Bahamas to get married. You're all invited, and nobody comes. So, it's on them.
Yeah, or whether or not it's a family you don't want to be around. There's a lot of people who they have literally hundreds of friends who they would love to be able to invite, and this kind of puts it back on the people so that you don't have to go through and pick and choose who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. It's okay, this will help to weed it out. So again, it's not for everybody, but it could be a really good option for some. How about you, Jen?
I love the cruise from home one, and that's because I live in Florida and we have so many cruise ports. And we actually have one that's like 20 minutes away from our home. But so you can combine wedding and honeymoon. That is one thing you can do with the cruise. And B, you can find really great deals on cruises. And if you're going to one close to home, then you don't have to fly out. I would just find a cheaper place than the port for your car. Usually there will be websites for cruise parking that you park at like a hotel or something and you take a bus down. So Yeah, I love that idea because I love cruises. I think they're a great frugal vacation. I mean, you can eat 24 hours a day and everything is included, like pizza and ice cream.
Good idea for baby moon then too, right?
Right?
As long as you don't get too seasick. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, they don't let you cruise after 24 weeks. Isn't that crazy? 24 weeks. So I couldn't take a baby moon cruise, but I would definitely take a cruise honeymoon if I could do it over again. Because we found, I think one of the parts of our honeymoon that was like uncomfortable for me was that that is the first time we had traveled together, like for that long. And we found that we have different traveling styles. But on a cruise where everything's included, you can do whatever you want, like together, separate. And so we cruise really well together. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're not worried about spending. So, yeah, for the frugal person, all-inclusives, this is not on the list, but a cruise is all-inclusive.
Yeah.
But other all-inclusives, if you can find it through Groupon or a travel agent or whatever, that can be really fantastic because it takes out the guesswork of how much is this costing, but then it also helps with stress. Like you can just go. That's it. You made it. There's no needing to figure this out, figure that out, carry cash with you, hide your cash. It's done.
Oh, it's
you already
wonderful.
have it figured out. And after the stress of a wedding, that's very nice.
You just need to be told what to do, you know? Go have fun over here. Go have fun over here. It's all planned for you.
Go sleep now.
Yeah.
It's nighttime.
Yeah. You don't have to plan any of it. It's already done.
I also liked the idea for those who are really pinching pennies on their honeymoon that you can even do cruises to nowhere where they literally will leave the port, go out to sea for 2 nights and bring you right back. It sounds silly, but it really can make you feel like you're in a different environment. It's still fun. I mean, really, that's the fun of a cruise anyway. A lot of people don't even get off at the ports when you do arrive at these different destinations. Just enjoy the ship, enjoy the food that's all-inclusive, and then come right back to shore. So could be something to consider.
Sometimes the best part of the port is when everybody else gets off and you get the pool to yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's a good point. Yep. So they also mentioned scoring last-minute deals, which by its very nature, you're waiting till the last minute. So this is obviously not for everyone. And
not for me. Not for me.
Leaving that very important detail up to chance is a risky one. But there's those of you out there who are going to do this. So it is worth mentioning that, yes, you can get deals last minute. You, again, would have to be flexible. So where these last minute deals are to, who knows? You might be going to West Virginia. Sorry, West Virginia.
Gosh, no.
Actually, is it West Virginia's for lovers or is that just Virginia?
It's just Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia is not for lovers.
West Virginia is for cousins.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, I could not wait until the last minute. That is not me. I'm a planner. I like to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And so waiting to the last minute just did not fly right with me. I would rather, on the other end of the spectrum, if you book super early, you can also get crazy good deals. Yeah. So that would be me. I would book crazy early so I could get it out of the way.
It's worth mentioning that waiting till the last minute could mean that you then get desperate if you then realize, you know what, I actually did want a really fantastic honeymoon. So now I'm going to splurge on it. So just be careful with that. Know yourself well. Are you genuinely flexible? You can do whatever in the last minute, fine, do it. But if you're just trying to be cheap and save some money, hoping that you're going to get this amazing deal last minute, I wouldn't bank on that. And you
Right.
could then end up spending more money than you would have if you just had booked it a few months earlier.
I know. It's like trying to buy a wedding dress from China and then it turns out to be a potato sack. And then you have to spend more money on a legit dress.
What story are you referencing, Jen?
I'm just using a hypothetical, Jill.
For those of you who haven't listened to episode 6, Jen is referencing my story where I thought I didn't care about my wedding dress and I would just get one from China and then it shows up and it's not what I wanted. And I realized that I do want to look beautiful on my wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
What was I thinking? So then I had to splurge on something off the rack and get it tailor-made to fit my body. And, you know, the end of the day, I got married, but I learned a valuable lesson.
Mm-hmm. So don't do that with your dress or your honeymoon.
Yeah. 2 very important things.
Yes.
Do that with your centerpieces.
Right. You know what else is an important thing, Jill?
Ooh. Is it the Bill of the Week?
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hey ladies, great podcast. This is Bonnie from Northeastern Pennsylvania, and I have an awesome Bill of the Week. 7 years ago, we adopted our beloved little Henny. Well, not real little, 130 pounds of fur. But I love paying bills for him. I love buying treats. I love buying toys, his food, and anything he needs. Hope you enjoy your week. Bye.
Oh, sweet Hemi, a puppy. And yeah, sometimes you gotta, they take bills, just like babies. They've got bills.
Are you sure that Hemi's a puppy?
130-pound puppy.
It could be a really large guinea pig.
Girl, you need to think that through. Think that one through.
That's awesome, though. And isn't that so true that when we really care about something or value it, then like the cost of caring for that thing, maintaining that living being is a joy. That's so fantastic. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your bill.
Yeah. It's worth sacrificing other things for so you can better afford those bills. I love that. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
And we Pennsylvanians need those things to look forward to, Bonnie. I'm right there with you. You're not complaining about Pennsylvania, but listen, there's a ton of snow here. So I'm so glad that you have Hemi to keep you company. I know. I feel it.
And warm. And warmth. Yeah. If you have a Hemi or a puppy or any bill related to animals, please submit it to frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill, and we want to hear about it. So, yeah, we love them.
I especially like the solidarity found in Pennsylvanians.
I know, right? If you're from Pennsylvania, please leave us a bill of the week. Jill really needs it.
Feel alone.
Jill needs it. Yeah.
I need friends. Obviously, I started a Frugal Friends podcast.
I know, and I'm in Florida, so I can't be with you.
No, it's just torture upon torture.
Yeah.
It's never too late. Never too late to earn a degree. Never too late for a comeback. Between your busy career and taking care of a family, it can feel like there's never a good time to go back to school. But your time is now. Time to start your comeback with Purdue Global. As Purdue's online university for working adults, Purdue Global is dedicated to supporting adults like you who know it's time to earn the recognition you deserve. You have the experience, you have the knowledge, it's time to get credit for the work you've done. You can balance work, family, and everything in between while earning your degree. It's time to move forward in your career, for your family and for yourself, with a degree you're proud of, a degree that employers will recognize and respect. You're worth this investment in yourself to earn a degree you deserve. It's never too late. Never too late to go back to school and come back stronger with an education you can trust. Now is the time for your comeback. Start yours today at purdueglobal.edu.
We all agree that reducing carbon emissions is a good thing, and once again, Toyota is leading the way. We hear a lot about fully electric vehicles, and Toyota has them, with more on the way, but we also know a BEV is not for everyone. Whether it's because of cost, range, or concerns about finding a charging station when you need it, plus the raw materials used to manufacture batteries are limited. Enter Beyond Zero, Toyota's vision for a carbon-neutral future, in vehicles and manufacturing plants too, in the years ahead. The materials used to make just one long-range battery for an EV could be used to make batteries for 6 plug-in hybrids or 90 gas-electric hybrids. That's why Toyota's position today is electrified, diversified, empowering you to choose how to reduce your own carbon footprint with the vehicle that's right for you, a hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or battery EV. So shop, learn more, and get details at toyota.com/beyond0. Toyota. Let's go places.
We have Frugal friends in our Facebook community too, all over.
Which is so fun.
They have provided the fodder for today's lightning round.
Boom, boom, boom. Pew, pew, pew.
So, we have asked the Frugal friends how they saved on their wedding. And you know what? They have better advice than Google does.
Well, obvi, because they're
right,
awesome.
as they always do, because it's real life, not just written for search engine optimization.
Yes.
So we're going to share it with you.
Yes. So Rachel from our group says that finding a city building is a lot cheaper than a private venue when it comes to where you're going to have your reception or even get married. So that's a fantastic tip. If you live near a city, see what they've got, or just some sort of town building rather than, your country club. So thanks, Rachel.
Exactly. That was how we got the Shuffleboard Club was so inexpensive because it's a city venue. So, all right. Christina says sheet cake, cupcakes, and donuts are cheaper than wedding cakes. And I love this idea because you can get like a smaller cake and cut it for, for pictures and show, and then just bring out pre-cut cake. Saves time. It's like so efficient. Everybody gets cake like really quickly. And you can get the sheet cakes with no decoration that are super cheap. And nobody knows that they were sheet cakes and not round at some point. Like nobody cares. It's cake. So, yeah.
And donuts. Holy smokes. Why not?
Right?
Donuts are so much better than cake anyway.
I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done
just
donuts.
Give them donuts. Give the people what they really want. Donuts.
Right? Oh, covered in cinnamon and sugar. Or filled with Bavarian cream.
It's actually Fashionat Day as we record this.
What does that mean?
I guess it's a Pennsylvania thing, okay? It's the one thing we have to offer. It's a certain type of donut. So it's Fat Tuesday. It's the day before Lent. And so everybody, fills up on all their sweets because they're about to not have sweets for 40 days. But Fashionat, it's a type of donut that people will eat on Fat Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah. That's today.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm real onto donuts right now.
Every Tuesday is Fat Tuesday in Florida.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Also, I like that Christina said skip the programs because they just end up in the trash.
Yes.
I wish that I had done that.
Yes.
Man, why did I think I needed paper programs? I could have written it on a chalkboard and been done with it.
Yeah. And why people shouldn't be rushing through your ceremony anyway. Why are you trying to tell them what to expect next? Let them be surprised.
Yeah, and it's a wedding. Like how much do weddings differ from wedding to wedding? People know what's coming next.
There's
so
going to be rings.
Programs.
There'll probably be a kiss. There'll be some
vows.
Some stupid pastor joke,
Somebody's going to cry. Like it's a wedding.
Some little kid's going to pitch a fit. So you don't need the programs.
No.
All right. Emma, she did the potluck lunch idea, which My goodness. I'm so curious for more information from you, Emma, on that. Like, who all
That's
brought
what I wanted
food? How
to do
did
that
you
too.
know what? Anyhow, I think it's a fantastic idea that anybody could run with and make it whatever they want it to be. But yeah, pull on 10 different people to make your food. That's fantastic, or more. And they also borrowed sound equipment from their church. They used a clubhouse venue that her in-laws got a steep discount at. So yeah, use your connections. It's fantastic.
Yeah, if you see a venue you want and you know there's a discount to be had, then find a friend or make a friend that can get you that discount.
Yeah.
So
without, compromising your morals.
Right. Make it in the right way. And then Jocelyn got giant ice cream cakes for her reception. This is it. If I wasn't going to do donuts for my next wedding, I would do ice cream cakes. So,
yeah. Ice cream cake is fantastic.
Because if you're thinking about it, think about how much a wedding cake is. Then think about how much a few Carvel ice cream cakes are.
Carvel, yes.
She got hers at Cold Stone, but like same difference.
Yeah.
They're expensive, but
yeah. You just have to consider if you're doing like a backyard wedding, then you probably couldn't do ice cream cakes. Do the donuts.
So true.
You still got options.
Do
Don't
the
worry.
donuts.
Yeah.
And then many people in this thread said elope. That was their advice.
Kind of a similar idea to destination wedding, right? Just go to wherever you want a vacation. Find some minister to sign your papers.
Yeah. We didn't include that in the main segment because it'd be a short segment, but also an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is an option. I can't tell you how many times I considered this in
Who hasn't?
the getting married process.
Everybody has. So,
yeah.
But
so if you can actually pull it off, do it. And if you have pulled it off, please tell us about it because we want to live vicariously through you.
I don't know. I thought my wedding was worth it. I liked having it, even though it was, stressful
at the end of the day.
times.
It was a fantastic day, but
Great stories.
I'm so proud of the people who actually do elope.
Proud of you. If you eloped, proud of you. You're probably not listening to this episode, but we want you to know we're proud.
You're probably just like, what's the big deal? Just get married.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have on the subject of weddings.
I mean, that's not all we have. We could talk for forever. We just won't.
Get ready for part 3.
Yeah,
just kidding. No, that's not coming. Don't wait for that.
Yeah.
We're done.
2 parts. The end.
That's it. That's all you get.
The part 3 would be elope. There it is.
It would be a 1-minute episode.
We did it.
That's next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, guys, it's March. That's still happening. And we're finishing up the book Soulful Simplicity by Courtney Carver. That's right. We're doing book clubs. We got things happening. We're doing parts 1 and 2 to weddings. We're here every week. It's episode 49. This thing just keeps happening. We got Frugal Friends Facebook community group. Man, just get in on this action. So, So come on in, join our book club, talk with us about Soulful Simplicity by Courtney Carver.
Yeah, and if you're still listening to this episode and you want a free copy of Soulful Simplicity, leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher, screenshot the review before you submit it, and email that screenshot to frugalfriendspodcast@gmail.com, and we will select one winner for every 5 reviews. And we had a lot of reviews in February, so I would love to see, I can't wait to see how March shapes up. I don't check them, so I don't know yet. But I will know at the end of the month when I select one winner for every 5 reviews.
Nice. And if you guys want to know the types of reviews that we got in February that you're like, we're going to do March even better, here's one to beat. This one comes from C. D'Souza. And they say, fun frugality podcast, 5 stars, obvi. I just recently discovered this podcast and I just listened to Mrs. Frugalwood's episode. It was such an eye-opener for me, especially with my second baby due. Oh, congratulations. This podcast has made me want to live a more frugal and clutter-free life.
Yay.
It is so refreshing to hear you ladies, and your conversations are so down to earth. I am currently binging all the episodes. Thank you for such a great podcast. You are welcome, C. D'Souza. Good luck on your baby. Congratulations on your baby. Fantastic about frugality and clutter-free merging together in your life. Thank you for the 5 stars. Holy smokes, we're on a roll.
Yes, we are. I feel so much of my life in her review. So I am glad that our stories can converge at the right place at the right time. And that's what I hope for the rest of you, is that our other episodes will serve you at the right place at the right time and help you save money in the areas you might be struggling with or just interested in optimizing. So that's what we have for you this week. And we will see you next week. Very excited for next week's episode. See you then.
Next week's episode 50.
I know.
See ya at episode 50, you guys.
Yeah.
Woo!
Frugal Friends is produced, edited, and mixed by Eric Sirianni.
A group of high school students started a project to research a string of unsolved murders.
There is no profile of this killer except for the ones the students created.
What if this guy's still alive? Like, what if he comes after us?
Once you start getting a few tips or a few leads or a few identifications, then the cold case isn't so cold anymore.
This is Murder 101. Listen to Murder 101 on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Discover the heartwarming and hilarious world of sibling connections on Sibling Revelry with Kate Hudson and Oliver Hudson. Dive into family tales, explore the human mind, and laugh with guests like Joel and Benji Madden. It's more than a podcast, it's a celebration of the ties that bind us.
And it's fun because we've decided to open it up to really like all kinds of different siblings. And it's going to be an awesome season.
Listen to Sibling Revelry with Kate Hudson and Oliver Hudson on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.